Good morning, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Mr. Wood, I'm the principal here, and also a proud member of the South Dakota National Guard. I would like to welcome you to West Central Area's Veterans Day program, and I'm deeply honored to stand before you as an educator and a proud member of our nation's military. On this special occasion, we come together as a school community to recognize and honor the brave men and women who have served and continue to serve our country with unwavering dedication and courage. Veterans Day is a time to express our gratitude for sacrifices made and remember the profound impact that veteran service has had on our nation and our history. As an educator, I have the privilege of witnessing the potential and promise in each of our students. I am constantly inspired by their enthusiasm for learning, aspirations for the future, and unwavering commitment for personal growth. As a military member, I've seen the same qualities in my fellow service members: their dedication to a cause larger than themselves, their willingness to make sacrifices for the greater good, and their enduring commitment to protecting the freedoms and values that we hold dear. Our Veterans Day program serves as a reminder that these qualities, so strongly represented in our students and in our veterans, are at the core of what makes our country great. It is the embodiment of selflessness, integrity, and honor that our veterans have demonstrated, which allows our nation to thrive. Today, we pay tribute to the men and women who have walked the path of service, who have defended our freedoms, and who have made immeasurable contributions to our society. We honor their dedication and the sacrifices they and their families have made. I would like to thank our students, staff, and community members for their efforts in organizing this program, and I extend my gratitude to all the veterans who have joined us today. Your presence here is a testament to your commitment to our country, and we are immensely proud to have you here with us today. In closing, let us remember Veterans Day is not just a day on the calendar. It is a day to reflect on the ideals of service, sacrifice, and unity. It is a day to express our gratitude, not only in words, but through our actions, by supporting and appreciating those who served. It is my hope that through this program we can continue to educate, inspire, and empower the next generation of leaders who will carry on the legacy of those who have worn the uniform. Thank you, and never let us forget the debt of gratitude we owe our veterans. I'm now going to pass it over to some fine young Cub Scouts who are going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
So this speech was written by Sophie Stansted, who couldn't be here today. When we were born, we all received a legal name. And that name stays with us for as long as we live. Some of us have nicknames, or multiple names that we call, just like the day on November 11th, 1918. This day began being called the Armistice Day because of a few ceremonies taking place. At 11 a.m. on the 11th day of November, which is the 11th month of the year, 3 burials took place. One in Arlington National Cemetery, another in England at Westminster Abbey, and the last at the Arc de Triomphe in France. All of these burials were of unknown soldiers that had died during their service. In 1926, November 11th officially received the name of Armistice Day. Just 12 years after it received its name, it became a national holiday in 1948. This was 1 year after the first celebration in Birmingham, Alabama, where people began referring to it as Veterans Day. Lastly, in 1954, Congress passed a bill that President Eisenhower signed to make this day a federal holiday. November 11th, a day that owns a name, just like all of us, and will be called that day with the utmost respect for as long as the day lives, or in other words, forever.
My name is Hayden, and I'm going to be reading about my grandpa. Veterans Day is a day where we honor our veterans for serving in the military. I'm going to be talking about my grandpa, Stephen Borson. I love my grandpa very much, and I look up to him a lot. He's always been around, and there's never a dull moment with him. He served in Da Nang East as security. He went to reserve meetings for a year before he joined the Navy in 1968. He started boot camp in March of '69 and was sent to Vietnam that June. While in Vietnam, he was stationed at Camp Carter. He stood watch in watchtowers around the perimeter of Army compounds. After 6 months, he got the job of driving a Jeep to all the compounds he used to stand watch in. Some of the weapons they had were a .45 caliber pistol, an M16 machine gun, an M60 machine gun that was positioned on the back of the Jeep, and a grenade launcher. He came home in June of 1970, 6 days before he turned 21.
Hello, my name is Hayden Amundsen, and I'm going to be presenting a speech about my dad. My dad, John Amundsen, served in the Navy from 1990 to 1993. My dad joined the Navy right after high school. He made his decision after watching the movie The Hunt for Red October. My dad left for boot camp in July of 1990, and he would graduate in September of the same year. My dad served aboard the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower. He served during Desert Storm and Desert Shield. The job my dad did was a plane director on the flight deck, and towards the end of his time in the Navy, he was a firefighter. My dad has a lot of funny stories during this time. One of my favorite ones is where he had to go to boot camp for an extra 2 weeks. After he graduated, they were allowed a 24-hour leave, but my dad decided to show up 4 hours late with grass stains all over his uniform, missing his hat and his shoe, all because of a football game. Other than his antics, he's gotten to see a lot of very cool places. He's gotten to visit Greece, the Arctic Circle, Italy, France, and Dubai. Those are just a few of the places he has been. I really enjoy hearing about my dad's service, and I'm very grateful for what he has done for me and our country. Thank you.
History of Veterans Day. The history of Veterans Day has a long and meaningful origin dating back to World War I. Around this time in 1921, an unknown World War I soldier was buried in Arlington Cemetery. This is when people started to gain interest in a day of ceremony for our veterans. The tomb of the unknown soldier has since become a very significant place for Americans and veterans. Veterans Day celebrates all members of the military that have served. Originally, Veterans Day was named Armistice Day. This was because many people believed that World War I was going to be the last war. Armistice Day was officially created in 1926, but then was made a holiday 12 years later. Then, several years later, World War II broke out. In 1954, Armistice Day was renamed to Veterans Day. U.S. Representative Edward Reese proposed a bill to rename Armistice Day, and soon after, Congress passed it. Later on in 1968, they ended up changing the holiday to the fourth Monday in October. In 1978, they returned the holiday to its original date because of the significance of November 11th. On Veterans Day, we celebrate and honor all who have served.
Mr. Wu if I could tell a short story about my godfather, James Yount. Now, his last name starts with a Y, and in his school, they would go by alphabet through the year, and that the last name starts with A, goes all the way to Z. They would say the Pledge of Allegiance. It has been an entire year since he started. I think he was in 3rd grade, and it's his turn to say the Pledge of Allegiance. He gets up there, and he's got this weird little shorts on. We have a picture of him. It's so funny. He looks like Tidy Whities. It's hilarious. He stands there, gets real up, sits up straight, has a microphone in his hands. He goes, "I led the pigeons to the flag of the United States of America." Now, this little boy who said, "I led the pigeons to the flag," grew up to be in the Navy for several years and served his country to his fullest, and I appreciate him very much. So here's my written. James Yount, my godfather, was an E5 machinist mate 2nd class in the Navy. He joined the Navy at 18 in 1985 and served until 1991 as a nuclear power machinist mate. He explained it as, we put the spicy rocks, uranium-235 with a moderator, into water to make the steam which makes the turbines go round and round. The spinny makes the shocky, the electricity, to run the ship. I found it fascinating that almost all of our Navy ships that we still use today are almost all powered by steam made with these spicy rocks. The stories that came from his job were very interesting, and on the ship he worked on, feuds between the different departments were not uncommon. And he loves to tell stories about them all. The military made him the man he is today, and in a lot of ways it made my family different too. Because he came out of his good and his bad experiences with a smile on his face and a story to tell the world, my brother and sister were both inspired to join the military as well. I'm very proud to have such an amazing man in my life to serve his country to his fullest.
So I'm going to be reading Sydney Huntley's speech. She is obviously away at state volleyball, so here goes. Many of us have grandparents who have told us stories from their past that have intrigued us or taught us something. When I was talking to my grandpa one time, he was telling me about his military experience and how it impacted him. In 1967, he joined the National Guard and was sent to Fort Dix in New Jersey. For the first 6 months of service, during the first 3 months, he went through basic training. In the final 3 months, he started working on his MOS, Military Occupational Specialty, specializing in mortars. What you didn't know, a mortar is an artillery weapon that launches explosives. After he completed these 6 months of training, he returned home for the remaining 5.5 years of his service. During this time, he would have to do a monthly drill, and 2 weeks out of summer, he would have to go to Camp Ripley in Little Falls. When asked what he learned or valued from this experience, he said, I learned how to follow orders. When you were told to do something, you did it. He thought this was a valuable thing that helped him in many aspects of his life. He thinks that in today's society, there are many kids and even some adults who struggle with taking orders and being told what to do. He thinks that it wouldn't be a bad idea for all kids to go through basic training, whether it's to actually join the military or just learn how to take orders. Now, I don't know if I agree with that, because I don't want to go through that, but there are many valuable lessons and things to be appreciative of what our veterans have gone through. So to conclude this year's Veterans Day program, I'd like to start by thanking each and every one of you for coming today. It's been a real honor and privilege being able to run this year's program. But more importantly, thank you for your service and sacrifice. It's because of individuals like you that we get to be free, which allows us to do things we love every day. We're all very fortunate to live in this great country and have people like you in our lives. Once again, thank you for coming, and please enjoy some breakfast and coffee in the commons area. Have an amazing rest of your day.